meditation, you mentioned that it can seem kind of woo woo. Um,
Mhm.
I think a lot of people feel that it's a bit too self-focused, and self-centered to kind of sit down and just think about me and think about my thoughts. Um, from a Christian perspective, what's your kind of thoughts about that?
Well, I think you could look at this in the context of all personal development. Isn't all personal development potentially just too much navel gazing, right?
Right.
And um, it can be, unless the purpose of this reflection is to improve yourself for the benefit of others. If it really is, this is just about me, and I'm I'm going to do whatever. Then yes, it's ultimately a selfish act. But if anytime I'm trying to improve in an area in my life, be it mental, physical, interpersonal, it doesn't really matter. If it's designed in service to other people, then it's not a selfish act.
Right. Yeah. And that's why I think it's helpful to kind of have um, God in the back of your mind or present while you're like if you are meditating, if you are just thinking about like your thinking and your thoughts and all of that, realize that this is like that God is there influencing those kinds of things. I think is helpful because then it's not just about you because it can quite easily become just about you.
It's very easy for it to become about you. And I think your conception of God is a really important piece of this. That if you believe that God um, has expectations on you, that
Hmm.
that you will do certain things with whatever gifts He's given you, then yeah, absolutely, that will change the purpose for why you're doing it. If you think God just loves you just the way you are, and you and God are just, we're tight, babe. We're there's no expectation for improvement. There's no expectation for service to others. Then yeah, it can be very, even if you've got God in the loop. If your conception of God is, in my mind, wrong, then yeah, it can still be a selfish act.
Yeah, it seems like a good maybe a good way to think about this for Christians because that's Christians are kind of always hesitant about these kinds of things. Is like it's just talking to God, right? And He doesn't talk back in the sense that like you and I are talking, but like meditation is just you're talking to God about the things in your life, about what you're thinking about, how you're thinking, all of that, and
I
giving
think
it up
that's
to Him.
I think it's, your lips don't have to move, but it's a deep, you can pray and you can pinball around on 100 different topics. Like you have your list of people you're going to pray for. Okay. And then there's a missionary in Zambia, and I got to pray for that person. And then there's my Aunt Edna's toe. And then there's, and you're going through this list. That's not really meditation. But if you're deeply focused on, let's say, one person, and you're slowing yourself down, then that's that sort of communication that we're talking about.
Yeah, like, Lord, show me, where I'm wrong. This is how I'm thinking exactly about this thing that I'm doing. This is how I'm thinking about my work. This is how I'm thinking about yada, yada, yada. And show me exactly what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, and where I need to improve. So that it's, because if it's just you in your own head, you can get lost. But if God's there and you're directing these things towards Him, then there's an actual path towards improvement, it feels like.
Yeah, and then I think the other piece of it that I think you're kind of implying is that there are a lot of people who are Christians who believe that prayer is talking to God. You know,
Hmm.
here's my list of grievances. Here's my list of requests, and get on it.
As though
Um,
God were a vending machine.
uh, yeah, like he's your pet monkey that
Right.
he's gonna give you what you want and entertain you. I think part of part of the meditation piece is being quiet as well. Um, David says, um, he talks about meditating on on scripture,
Right.
and I don't think it's that he's just reading it. He's really deeply, quietly focused on one thing at a time.